So yeah, what I was saying is, I was told how a lot of important people, when they go talking, they do this research ahead of time. The smart people will do research and figure out how to speak right and get a good point across. And sometimes their point might not be right or even make any sense, but if they can present it in a way that looks good, you can fool the masses. And you might just hear someone speak and be like, that makes so much sense. And then 10 years later, realize how stupid it was and think, why did I ever get on board with that? Because they know how to talk to people. So if you know how to talk to people, you could rule the world. And that's why I think it's important for every individual person to get a self-aware and have a sharp mind. It's actually a Bible verse, I think, where it's like, be alert and sober of mind, for the devil prowls around like a lion. I think that's a Bible verse.
But like,
and I think it's applicable today very prominently as much as it was
and
then.
And really to get back to the original thought of division, you don't look at everything as divided. Try to make things a whole, right? Like, so don't be like, I hate this person, I want to go after this person. Like, look at how you can love them, how you can support them, and don't look at the vision, and don't take things that they may say and try to twist it against them. Take what they say and find context to it. Find sources, find the different areas to maybe then be like, hey, this isn't right because of this. You shouldn't be doing this because of this. And now, when you do give these reasonings and say, you shouldn't do this because blah, 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 this says blah, 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 look at your sources. Are your sources going to be biased, or are your sources going to be relatively unbiased? And the hard part about that is everything is going to be biased today. And you can't get away from that. It doesn't matter what you're doing, because, like, a big source for a lot of people, especially people who are going to try to prove you right and actually have evidence and your sources, they're going to lean towards more like right-leaning sources and things like that. So like a big source for certain issues may be the Bible, but these people are going to be like, well, I don't believe in that, so that cannot be an accurate source.
That's that division thing again. No one can agree on like what's the good source.
And that's the problem with it. You're never going to find an agreeable, non-biased source, but you have to find the source that you believe and you trust and you know for a fact.
I would say also don't just find one. Find a bunch of sources that you can trust and like cross-examine.
But
I actually had a really interesting conversation where in my hometown there was a new thing that was passed where they implemented a different tax, and I was thinking, wait, what's the point of this tax? That just seems like it's taking money branch of the town's like government already has. And then I actually was sitting down with someone and they go, this is what the tax does and this is how it benefits. And I was so happy with that, because I love it when someone can sit down with me and tell me this is the positive to why people are on the side of this. And I'm not even I don't even exactly remember all the details, but it's really refreshing when someone can tell me their logical reasoning behind having an opinion, and I always love that.
And at the end of the day, the only source you should truly be following is the Bible, and that should be the source of your information. Not necessarily for your information, but for your wisdom and your guidance and what you should and should not be doing.
Even regardless of the religion, like we're religious, but even if you're regardless of religion, the Bible has a lot of wisdom and very logical
things that
foundation can be found there.
And it doesn't matter what you believe. The Bible is really, it's a history book. It's what has happened throughout history, and the things in it didn't just come together via mistake. If you really look into it, it is pretty much impossible.
Yeah, look into it. Look at all the sources.
Not necessarily look at the sources, but like look how it was put together and use some common sense. It realistically should be impossible that this has been put together, and this put together with the accuracy it does. I mean, take a look at the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Thank you. I had to think about that for a second. Look at those. Those were written, I think someone said that it was like 40 years after the actual events happened.
But they're also similar.
And
they all have like similar corresponding detail.
And